Hey, YouTube, Auto here. So this is another first impressions video, and this is actually the first time I have ever had my Aopoa and used it not in space. So this is the first time I've had it on a planet. I've already gotten on it, took it off the runway, started it up, hopped off, it hopped up in the air, and then started the video. So let's see what we got. See if I can get up in this thing. Okay. Maybe can I get on my bike? Alright, so maybe I'm just clicking it wrong. There we go. Alright. Alright, this is the Aopoa Nox Kue. So this is the silverish one. Alright, and I've always liked them. I think they're really slick. I think they look really sweet. Let's see what we got here. I took it out for a little ride though, and then I was remembering, I was like, I've never taken this on a planet before, so I should do a first impressions video. It definitely feels different than the land vehicles. I'm going to be really curious to see what the Rangers feel like. Because, my wife and I were talking, and it was like, well, why do we need a Ranger if we have our Aopoas? The Aopoas can be used in space and ground. And obviously, if they have exclusive races where you have to use a Ranger, that would be one thing, which I imagine they probably will be at some time. There's always races that are classes. But then I was like, other than that, why would you want, use a Ranger or something if you have an Aopoa, if you have a Nox? And so I really couldn't come to any answer with that. The only reason we kept our Rangers is because it was like if there's an exclusive race that uses them. But now that I'm using the Aopoa out here on this moon, I don't even remember what, I think it's Ariel, over by Hurston. And so, why would you use a land vehicle if you can use like this or the Dragonfly or something? And I really like this, and I know this doesn't have storage on it, but I didn't really get it for that. And I'm thinking, like, the land vehicles hit rocks. They hit these rocks quite a bit. Not as much as you would think. It's not like you get stuck all the time. If you watch the other video with the tumbril, I didn't really get stuck a whole lot. I don't even know if you can get stuck. I don't even know if the code will let you do that yet. I think it'd be great if you could, and you actually use your winches on the front and the rear of the vehicles. But maybe that'll be something they'll put in the future. But as far as this Aopoa goes, I like that it stays up off the ground. It gives it a lot more freedom. And I also noticed that it will, like if you hit a rock or something like this, not in the nose, there we go. Like that right there, you can kind of use them as a ramp a little bit. So they're definitely forgiving as far as not getting like all smashed up and broken for bouncing around. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I'm just gonna go and hit shift. I guess that is my boost. I can't scroll wheel to change my speed on this like you can the Starship, so I don't know. Maybe this is max speed right here. Yeah, I was using shift. I guess that's how you make it go a little faster, but to be honest, it's not like and you just take right off. It's just a little bit quicker than normal, so maybe the boost could be given maybe a bit more so that they actually make a difference, and maybe they could have like a cooldown, a boost meter and a cooldown, so that when they hit, they're strong, but you only get so many seconds of it before it is gone, and then you have to wait for it to cool down in order to use it again. And it'd be just as cool if it was like a bottle setup, like nitrous oxide, so that you would have to actually load up your bikes or your land vehicles, whichever ones have it, with boost. And then when you use it, you'd get like maybe 10 seconds or something out of it before it has to go on cooldown. and then it's on cooldown for maybe 20 seconds or whatever, and then you use it again, you get another 10 seconds or whatever. But while you're doing that, it uses up the bottle, just like it would nitrous oxide. So that a player would have an item that they could put on their land vehicles that could potentially give them a performance edge, but only for a short time. Maybe 5 to 10 second usage with maybe a 20-30 second cooldown, and then you only get to do that like maybe a dozen times or something like that, or 2 dozen or whatever before the bottle's empty. And then you need to refill it. On these vehicles, that'd be pretty slick. And you could do that with fuel, just like that's what nitrous oxide does. It puts a whole lot more power in the engine. But these here use a fuel, so you could potentially do the same thing with these, just give them that special fuel additive. But yeah, I like the Aopoa. It handles well enough. I like how it sounds. It's like starting up the brand new Defender. I really like the way that starts up too. It's almost like an alien purr, and you're just like, yeah. And this has got that same familiar hum to it that I really like. That I think it's like even a sports bike. If you're using a crotch rocket or something, those they all have their unique sounds. If you're just sitting idle, or if you're revving, or if you're really getting on it, and redlining between each gears. But yeah, that'd be really slick. But they could do a lot with this. It just really depends on what they decide to do. But I'm just throwing out suggestions. But I do like it. Man, that'd be nuts if there was a race in between buildings. Do you imagine hitting those buildings right? And if you hit them wrong, you're going right into the wall. There we go. But yeah, cutting in between buildings, it's pretty tough on this, even without the boost, just going regular. Granted, I'm not really in first person mode, which would probably be easier. You got to get real good because you gotta cut in between them. Hit your boost. The other thing I was looking for, and I don't know if this bike does it, but maybe it does. Okay, it does it? I'm still trying to see. Like if I'm going straight like this and I hit space, sometimes it feels like it has a little bit of up to it. It'd be nice if like maybe if you hit space or something, the space bar, if it would hit the bottom maneuvering thrusters and just give them like a quick boost so that it would kind of push the vehicle up into the air to get up over obstacles and rocks and whatever. It really comes back to how much boost they decide to give it so that it gets up. I just want it to get up into the air so it can come back down. This feels good, but it doesn't feel like I keep trying to hit the space bar and kind of boost it up over top of things so that I can keep going. But then when you're not in the boost mode like that with the jump with spacebar, that's when you would get your top speed. You'd get more speed when you're down low. But when you hit your spacebar to hop up, it would slow down your speed so you wouldn't be running all out. And that way it would give a negative to the jump, but it would still make it useful. But so that you'd want to take the route in races and things like that maximizes using the jump with the space to kind of boost up with the space and the maximum speed by staying low. So I don't know, I'm just kind of brainstorming here, but I just feel like I keep wanting to hit that space bar and pop it up. But yeah, it feels good. I feel like it should have more oomph with the boost, and maybe even make the engine growl when you hit that boost so you can hear it. Because I think the audio, I think the sound guys can attest to this. The audio is just as important as the actual visuals and the experience of what you're seeing. Like now with it just hovering around like this, and I can hear it. We all remember that from Star Wars. Especially the TIE fighter screaming by, and the sound of X-Wings shooting by, and like this Aopoa has a distinct hum to it. But it would be nice if when you hit the boost, it really knocked up that, kind of amplified the audio of the engine, kind of made it growl a bit more. And with the space, hopping it up a good amount would be pretty decent. Yeah. Yeah, that's really what I'm looking for on the Aopoas. They're sexy as heck. I think they look awesome. It handles well. I think it just needs that growl and that pop-up boost. It needs a deep growl when you hit your boost shift, like that right there. And it needs a similar one, maybe even slightly different when you hit the space bar. Because I feel like it could. I feel like it drifts. It drifts so much that it's not really that snappy. It's not snappy on this moon. Maybe it's the gravity on this moon. It's just not snappy. It wants to kind of drift some. And I'm looking for a more snappy feel. Something that kind of turns in harsher, stronger, sharper. But then when you hit the boost like that, it just takes right off. But we want to hear that engine growl. That is like... That would just put a smile on my face. Even hitting the boost right there and cutting it back the other way. I'll have to get my DPI turned up on my mouse, but... And then hitting it the other way. Like that, and then just hitting your boost and taking off. It made me smile a little bit. I like that. Alright, y'all. The Aopoa Nox Kue. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you in the next one.